I've had this idea crawling around the back of my mind sneakily for a few months now, and now it's a good time to execute on that idea. It's the NuTrek individual tier list maker. You can play it yourself. You can go on Tier Maker. You can look me up, and you can do this tier list yourself. So it's interactive in a way, just like my Ultimate Ships tier list video, which was a lot of work and not a lot of outcome. But it was something I always wanted to do. This is something I wanted to do for a little while, comparatively speaking, not as long as how I wanted to do the Ultimate Federation Ships tier list. Check that out. This is NuTrek. That's right, you got Picard Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Lower Decks Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Prodigy Season 1, Season 2, Discovery Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, Season 5. There's new things coming, as in next up will be the final season of Lower Decks, but this is a pretty good time to do it, in our off season, while we're waiting for Lower Decks to show up with its final season, that being Season 5. Let's check out the individual seasons of Star Trek in the new era. New means Discovery onward. This is not including, obviously, Kelvin stuff. That'll be later. By the way, this video is a double feature. We're doing individual seasons of NuTrek and the movies. How did I not do this yet? How did I not do a tier list on movies? Well, here's it. This is NuTrek and movies. So let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the seasons. And this is going to be a little bit complicated, because ranking entire seasons kind of implies that you have a working memory of how those seasons played out. For some of them, I don't. Lower Decks, more episodic, more irreverent, more zany, harder to figure out. So you'll forgive me for taking a break to do a little bit of research. Let's start off with, Star Trek Discovery, because I mostly already did it. Remember, I did do a Discovery season tier list. So let's just kind of copy that into this. And yes, I reserve the right to make changes. And yes, I reserve the right to be completely wrong. Feel free to tell me. All right, let's go. Discovery, yeah, Season 5. I put that in B. I just reviewed it. Do I need to explain? Interesting ideas. Predictable kind of outcome. It taps into an older history of Star Trek that we may have forgotten, that being TNG The Chase. I don't need to elaborate on that any further. What do they call them? The progenitors? Is that what they call them? The people who kind of operated that machine and then spread all these different life forms and yada yada yada. An okay season. B. B is strong. You know how stingy I am. When I say B, I mean that's all right. Where's our next Discovery? Let's go with Discovery Season 4. This is our first one entirely in the future. If you don't count the very beginning of 3. 4, it's a interesting premise. The execution is boring. That's the problem. So I'm going to put it in C. Watch this be different than what my actual tier list I made for these seasons on the community post is. Watch it be different, because I'm crazy. 2, I do not like this at all. 1, I like it more than 4. 2, I don't like the Red Angel thing. It's just boring. I didn't like it the moment it started. I didn't like it when it finished. Season 1, I have to give it props for being different. It felt like something different was happening. Like I didn't know what to really expect in those days. That's got to be worth something. But there should be another Discovery here somewhere. Where is it? Oh yeah, Season 3. Osira. It's alright. I like the big picture, and 4 is beating it on the big picture. 1, it's a toss-up. They're almost the same, 1 and 4. But it's like that. I think that's how it should work. Alright, moving on to Star Trek Picard. Where's the good old Star Trek Picard Season 1? Of all the seasons, of all the shows, it seems to me, just in my little corner of Star Trek land, in my little corner of YouTube, if I'm honest, Picard, like Season 1 and Season 2, is actually the show that is most hated. It's not Discovery. It's actually Picard. The one I seem to find the most people agreeing that it's not good is Picard. It's surprising. And when I was reviewing Picard Season 2 is when I had the most traction on this channel, because hate sells. Being angry about something sells, unfortunately. That's just the way it goes. And I was... my reviews for Picard Season 2 were not very strong, we'll say. And people really like that. And you get more traction with people hating something they hate than liking something they like. So these seasons that people just kind of like are the ones they don't even comment about. That's how I know a season is good. Isn't that funny? When a season is good, nobody's commenting. They're just kind of, all right, it's fine. I don't need to worry about it. It'll operate on its own. But when Picard season 1 and season 2 hit, season 1, the first 3 episodes were kind of fun, and then it became like I can watch ships in Star Trek the Motion Picture. Give me the Star Trek the Motion Picture super extended cut where we watch a ship move slowly for 3 hours, and I can watch that and be glued to it, paying attention. But I cannot sit through Picard season 1. It is a sleeping aid. There's only so many times I can have a cut to that Romulan guy, Narek, and Soji or whatever her name was, just goofing off in that Borg cube. That's the only way I can really describe it. Is that half the plot is goofing off, and the other half of the plot is dour, miserable complaining about stuff. Does that sound fun to you? Maybe it does, but to me, it's indeed. Season 2. I'm just going to put it here for now, but the reality is, this has got to be the cheapest looking Star Trek show ever made. It's got just production value. It might be the cheapest. It is absolutely nonsensical how cheap this is, how little Star Trek you get in this, in terms of the sci-fi, not necessarily just in terms of plot. Of course, a Star Trek plot can occur in any setting, in a sense, but Picard season 2, it's just, why am Picard sad? Oh, he had problems with Mom. By the way, Q is here. That's Picard season 2. And no, we don't go to the mirror universe. That would have been cool. We go to another different universe because we couldn't go to the mirror universe because at this time the mirror universe is a little bit different. Even though we went to it in Prodigy season 2. Yeah, it's like I said, it has a similar problem to season 1. The first few episodes of season 2, breakneck pace. Crazy what was happening in the first few episodes of season 2. I could barely keep up with it. And then it just goes into random junky crime show. I don't know, like one of those procedural shows that I don't watch and can't describe. You know the ones. That's Picard season 2. And they teased me all along with this ship, and imagine a Star Trek season where they talk about space. And you don't go there. They're talking about this Europa mission. I'm thinking, oh man, it's going to be so cool when we go there. No, sir. That's not what happens. So I think, genuinely, this might be contentious. Imagine if you have 3 seasons in your show, and what the point of contention is, what season is the worst. That's kind of sad. If I have to choose between 1 or 2, I'm watching 1. Even worse than that, or good, depending on who you ask. Season 2, you don't have to watch it for season 3. I think it might be retconned, or it's in a different timeline entirely. I think it's gone. So yeah, I actually think, genuinely, Picard season 2 is at the bottom. Sorry about that. Strange New Worlds, season 1. I like the more conservative kind of episodes that are more in the line of TOS, more episodic. We're not really reinventing the wheel. We're telling some classic Star Trek stories. And for me, that's better than 5. Big picture, though, we're still lacking. We need to see these Strange New World season 1 and Discovery season 5. We need to combine those. We need to combine them to get into the A rank. And we're just not doing it. But it was a breath of fresh air at that time to see Strange New World season 1. Everybody could breathe a sigh of relief. We're just watching regular old Star Trek, in a sense. You know what I mean. Visuals notwithstanding. Strange New World season 2, more experimental, more goofy, more strange. It remains to be seen how far we can stretch this. I didn't really love the previews we've seen so far for season 3, but we'll see how that works. Season 2, I don't think is as Season 5, like, Discovery, I don't know. I Season 5 Discovery did a better job of stringing me along, if you can think of that as a good thing. But Season 2 of Strange New Worlds, I don't know. I want to do this, but I'm not sure. Uh, Prodigy. Hold on, we're forgetting one. We're forgetting Season 3 of Picard. How could we forget? Oh, Season 3 of Picard. How vain am I? How easily had am I? Can they really just throw a bunch of classic things on screen and expect me to follow along? Can they really? Who knows? Well, I remember I paraphrasing here what I said when I reviewed the final 2 episodes of Season 3 of Picard. I remember I said I was shaking with rage. That was true. The last 2 episodes, they only look good and feel good. They're not good. Like, they're not actually good. They just seem like they are. Like, it's some junk food, and maybe we deserve it after some other things happen with Picard Season 1 and Season 2. But, spoilers here. You can't rename the Titan A the Enterprise. You just can't. Titan A saved the day, and your reward is to rename it? What does that even mean? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I thought, how did these people... I knew who was working on this show, and I just remember thinking, how did they think that? These people would never normally think that. But they did, and we ended up with the Enterprise G, and it's not the freaking Enterprise. It's the Titan Prize. I don't know what to call it, but it ain't the Enterprise. The Enterprise is the Enterprise, and that ain't it. Enterprise F shows up for no reason. It was around for no time at all. Here comes the Enterprise G. By the way, we killed Shaw. Why? Just like Strange New Worlds. Interesting new character. Killed him. And they were both engineers, by the way. Imagine that. That's what's killing Season 3. That's what's hurting it is last. The first third and the middle third, I thought were fantastic. For the most part. It was not fun being on that planet with Raffi and Worf. That it just got old after the second visit there. We desperately needed an injection of cash to get a new set, a new planet for them to go to. If you had done that and not renamed the Titan the Enterprise G and kept Shaw around, this would be an A, bordering on S. But I just can't do it. I'm giving it the highest B. That's the best I can do, if I'm honest. Okay, Prodigy. Back to Prodigy, Season 1. Can I do it? I did it slowly because I was expecting you to slap me on the head. I love it. I don't know. It Star Trek plots, Star Trek visuals, treating the canon with respect, old characters coming back and doing something meaningful. It felt like it was meaningful for Janeway to be there. It meant something. It wasn't a joke. The overall message was there. Communication. We'll go look at my reviews for a more in-depth analysis on that. The Protostar is cool. A new drive system that's cool. The Proto-Drive. Beautiful music that's original. An original soundtrack that doesn't have to borrow on things from the past to be good. It's good on its own. And it looks really good. Like, it's really surprising how good looking it is. I think this season could be a classic. I think it's an A. But we don't have an S. We don't have an S here, by the way. There's no S here. Prodigy Season 2. Not as good. The plot again, do I sound like a broken record? Do you feel like you're time traveling? Every time you see me complain about time travel, oh great, Mark's complaining about time travel. I'll just time travel back again to hear him make the same complaint. Over-reliance on time travel, and the plot gets kind of muddied by the end, and it gets, like I said, I made a video on it specifically, it's getting a little bit hard to believe. For that reason, I'm actually putting it, behind Picard Season 3. Still good. I still liked it. Don't watch that video and get confused like I'm complaining. That's not what I mean. I made that video about what Prodigy asked me to believe. I still liked it. Right? I can just see the strings now. I can see the strings and how they could maybe be cut. in the future. If we get a season 3, where this could go wrong. Maybe we won't get a season 3 though. Now we're into Lower Decks. This is where I'm gonna have to do some research because I remember the specific episodes that I love, but I don't remember exactly what season they were in. So you're gonna have to give me a minute to figure this stuff out. So here's our seasons, and my first instinct is to look up where Reflections is. Reflections is my favorite episode of Lower Decks. Where is it? Reflections, season 3. Okay. Second Contact, it's okay. Envoys, it's okay. Temporal Edict, it's okay. Moist Vessel, I like it. Cupid's Errant Arrow, I like it. Much Ado About Boiler, it's alright. Veritas, I like it. Crisis Point, I like it. No Small Parts, I like it. We're doing half like here. That's good. Like I said before, if you've been following for a while, go back through a season. Do yourself the yes-no question. I give you 1 second. Episode title. You have to say yes or no. If a season is more yeses than nos, that's good. Look, no, 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 yes, yes, no, no, yes, yes, yes. It's pretty good. Play that game with yourself. Here's Lower Decks Season 2. Strange Energies, no. Kayshawn, His Eyes Open, yes. We'll Always Have Tom Paris, no. Mugado Gumado, no. An Embarrassment of Duplers, yes. The Spy Humongous, yes. Where Pleasant Fountains Lie. What was this one? What was this one? Mariner and Boiler strain on how to planet with a sentient computer, and the Cerritos Billis must prove his engineering abilities to an old adversary. What was this? Just the fact that I don't remember this could be a problem. Oh, is this the one where Billups finds his parents there? Oh, okay, yeah. This is the one where they say, "Did his kingdom come?" That's a yes, just for that joke. I Excretus, yes. Wedge Dudge. My second favorite episode. Yes. Yes. So, season 2 is better than season 1. Season 3. What was Grounded? Is this the one where that bird shows up, that dragon? That's gonna sound insane if you don't know what I'm talking about. Reflections, Hero, Trust Nothing. Yeah, season 3 is a bad Admiral plot, which I don't like. No. Yes, they go to Deep Space Nine, okay. Oh, this must be a Peanut Hamper. Yes, on that one. Crisis Point's always going to be good. Trusted Sources. Okay, the one with the reporter. Stars at Night, no. It's just another big battle episode. Season 3, it's wavering, but it's still good. Season 4, Tuvix, yes. I Have No Bones, I Must Flee, no. In the Cradle of Vexilon. Oh, I love Caves. Just remembering that. I love Caves. I love the inner fight. Old Friends, New Planets. A pretty good finale. A Few Bad Years More, I like it. Man, it really, season, like once you get to the end of season 1, it's kind of strong all the way through. Okay, yeah, that's another old robot computer episode. Another old computer episode. Great. Oh yeah, the Tendi wedding. The 2 Beta Zeds. The one with, yeah, this is the one with Rom. Okay, that's good. A Few Badgies More. I like Badgie. I like that episode. I think I gave it a good review. Caves. I like that a lot. The Inner Fight, liked it. Man, this is gonna be rough. This is hard. Oh man, let me just pick one season. Pick one season for yourself. Okay, season 1's off. It's not gonna be season 1. Season 3's got Reflections. It's got Mining the Mind's Minds. What was Room for Growth? I'm sorry to bore you here, but this is the complicated one. This is the one I saved for the end for a reason. Like season 3, Admiral, what was it? Buenamigo, I think his name was. I don't enjoy a bad Admiral plot. I just don't. It's not my thing. And that's kind of, if anything is hurting season 3, it's that. I like I like Peanut Hamper episodes. I like them. I don't think everybody does, but I like them. Stars at Night is not that great. Trusted Sources. It's just another fight with AI. Like, we just did so many of them. So AI villain plot and bad Admiral plot. Do we really need that again? Sorry, it can't be season 3, even though my favorite episode is in season 3. That sucks. I gotta do that. Tuvix, I Have No Bones. Cradle of Exelon. Rom. Caves. Oh man, look at these. Badgies, Caves, Inner Fight. Like that. Good episodes, 3 in a row. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is the one where Room for Growth was the one where they went around that weird mist that made them feel strange. To say the least. I don't like Strange Energies. Good. No. Yes. Oh my gosh. I love Wedge Dudge. I love I Excretus. Embarrassment of Duplers, I think, has the scene where they're looking at the table that says Spock and Kirk on it. Is this the one? Oh, yeah, it is the one with the burr. God dang it. This is hard. Okay, fine. We're going to... 2 is better than Strange New Worlds. And because of Caves, they like that. Okay, and season 1, that's the one I threw out the first time. I'd still rather watch it than Discovery. And Reflections, just because this has Reflections, it's so close to Strange New World Season 1. It's so close. Dang it. Okay, you go here. Just because the wow factor of Strange New World Season 1, just the extravagance of it. But Season 1 of Lower Decks... I don't know. It might be B, but I want to go see. It's Season 1 of Lower Decks. It just wasn't that strong in hindsight. 2, the weird experimental nature of Strange New World Season 2. It has its points. Like, it has Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which is... We're still reeling from that, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of an important season. This ended up being more complicated than I thought. Can there really only be one in A? Does that make sense? Like, look how close this is to A, but it just can't be A for the reasons I just explained. Can 2... Oh, man. I don't know. I want to do this. I want to do Season 2 of Lower Decks is better than Prodigy Season 2. I want to do it. Okay. No. Oh my gosh. Prodigy Season 1 has The Whole World's a Stage and Moral Star and some other ones I still think about today. Season 3 has The Bounty. Lower Deck Season 2 has Wedge Dudge, I Excretus. Prodigy Season 2 has Last Flight of the Protostar Part 1 and Part 2. Excellent. Season 4 of Lower Decks has Caves. And something else. Strange New Worlds 1. I can't remember a specific episode. No, Memento Mori. Is that what it was called? Season 5 of Discovery has, I liked Mirrors. It has, something else in there. Strange New World Season 2. I don't know, I wasn't into that musical one. A good barometer here is the episodes you can remember for being good. And then by the time we get to D, we remember the episodes for being bad. Like, Season 1 has Stardust City Rag, and Season 2 of Picard has Hide and Seek. Hide and Seek, I think, is the worst Star Trek episode of NuTrek. I think it might be Hide and Seek. There's that one, and then there's one from, like, the start of Season 4 of Discovery, like Anomaly or something like that. Terrible. But the rest of it wasn't as bad. Yeah, I'm going with this. I'm going with this for right now. Like I said, I reserve the right to be freaking wrong, so feel free to complain. That's it. That's my tier list for NuTrek. A lot of B's, some C's, some D's, 1A. That's about it. And here is the movie tier list, the ultimate Star Trek movie ranking by Organized Chaos. Thank you, Organized Chaos. And here we go. And right off the bat, I noticed Galaxy Quest. I see what you did there. And yes, I will be putting Galaxy Quest on this tier list, because I love it. Star Trek The Motion Picture. What do you think I'm going to give that? This is better than all of NuTrek. It's better than any other movie. It's S. I love it. I'm sorry. It appeals to me. It's all big picture. The small details, whatever. Big picture, big questions, big imagery, big ships, cool effects, big music. This is how you do it. I don't care what anyone says. I'm done with the Star Trek The Motion Picture hate era. It's over. It's over. I went through like 30 years of that. It's over. 30 plus. It is that old now. And I'm just done with it. I just don't care anymore. This is the one I rewatch. And I don't skip anything. The longer the better, I say. Wrath of Khan. Every now and then, I like to have it on. I like to watch it. It's fun to watch Kirk and Khan chew the scenery. It's a fantastic movie. But I don't like it as much as Strange New Worlds. I'm not a big fan of the Monster Maroons. And I'm not a big fan of the soundtrack. I'm not in love with that James Horner music. Sorry. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. It's fun seeing them run around on the Bounty, that Klingon vessel. The Klingon vessel. I like my Starfleet action. So for that reason alone. But this movie did give us the Excelsior. A fan favorite, classic ship. Classic design. Space dock, though? Man. But you don't get Spock until the end. But it kind of ties into Wrath of Khan because of the Genesis device. It's closer than you think. Like, I remember the wave of love for Wrath of Khan, how it was this greatest thing ever, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, on closer inspection, Wrath of Khan is surrounded by fantastic movies on both sides. I really do think that. Man. I don't know. They destroy the Enterprise. They self-destruct it with the Klingons on it. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool win. So, I don't know. Call me crazy. Star Trek 4. I know people very well who say this is their favorite Star Trek movie. Bar none. They don't even have to think about it. I'm not in love with time travel. I'm not in love with the setting. The Save the Whales plot line. It's fun. It's an interesting break from all that seriousness. I'm not gonna lie. It's freaking fun. I don't live in space. I just work in space. I'm from Iowa. I heard this the fact that I can remember all these different lines. Is that a lot? Uh, colorful, the colorful metaphors and all that stuff. A. Star Trek V. It's not as bad as you think it is. Big questions, big adventure. Some silly stuff in the background to worry about if you're feeling picky. It reminds me of like how you can watch like Star Trek 2009. Just freaking turn it on. Stop freaking losing your mind over it. It's all right. It's the fact that there was a time when Star Trek V was considered the worst is kind of telling, isn't it? For what you get later, just being real. Star Trek 6, I love this. I love Star Trek 6. Just the way it's kind of like this kind of ship in a bottle detective kind of slow storyline that fits for the aging cast. Like it's a story that works for its cast, which you can't necessarily say about something like Insurrection and stuff like that, if we're honest. So I'm putting it there, but it might be a tie with Khan, but just to be nice to all the people that love Khan, I'm putting it ahead of it just to be nice. Wink, wink. But y'all know what's up. Generations. The villain, I can't even... Soren shoots a rocket at something and then makes the Nexus do something. What does it give us? The Enterprise B, which is just the Excelsior. It's that class, with a few different modifications. The music is alright, but, I mean, you're competing with Star Trek V, which is just kind of using Goldsmith, which is cheating. Star Trek V has I Need My Pain, and Generations has it has Kirk and Picard at the same time, but overall it's just not. You know what? I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go B for 5, and the trade-off is that Generations is gonna be just behind B. Just behind 5 in B, so. You know what? No. That's a high A. There we go. Okay, that's fine. But these are close. 6 and Con are close. 6 is riding the line to S. First Contact. This is the movie everybody loves when they first watch it, and then they think about it, and realize the implications of, like, the fact that Zephram Cochrane is just some goofball. Really? I remember back when we had the Bonaventure as the first warp vessel, and I didn't imagine Zephram Cochrane, like from what we've seen in TOS, young Cochrane, Zephram Cochrane of Alpha Centauri and the Bonaventure back in the day. But I think they did Zephram Cochrane dirty. I think they did him dirty. He's just building this stuff out of what looks like a Titan rocket on Earth from old World War III stuff. It could have been way cooler. It could have been way better what they showed of Zephram Cochrane. It could have been a little bit more interesting to show the world of, 2060s Earth if they just kind of zoomed out a bit and showed more of it. Wasted potential. I'm not in love with the Sovereign. The movie, the ship shots are some of the best there's ever been. I will say that, because they're still using some miniatures that look freaking ace. Look at that Borg cube. The Borg sphere that comes out of it. Go look at that frame by frame. The CGI we'll make a fair comparison. The Borg CGI in Picard Season 3, I don't think it's as good as that. Imagine that. This movie from the 90s. I can totally get why some people have it as their favorite. The more time that goes on, and I think about it, why do the Borg specifically go to the past, as in the day before First Contact? Why didn't they go further back in time when they could have destroyed the whole planet? Why didn't they just send back a bomb? Why didn't the Sovereign class Enterprise, the Enterprise E, retrieve its lifeboats? It's a bad idea, isn't it, to leave those Borg? I think they left Borg stuff on the Earth, and then that affects Enterprise. It's just a little bit too much for me. It's a good movie. Soundtrack second only to the motion picture in my mind. Second only. And when I say that, that means it's one of the greatest soundtracks ever devised for a film. If it's second to motion picture, and it's the same person, of course. For me, you're missing out on a lot of adventure, but I'm going to put it there. We just got to get back in space. We got to do more space adventure. We got to go places. Ask big questions. Don't just devise a dangerous plot. Like, what is the question behind this? We all know what would happen if First Contact didn't occur. That's not a question. That's not a deep, meaningful thing, right? What's it dealing with? Like, Star Trek 6 is dealing with, like, getting old and becoming inflexible and tired, and what it means to pass the torch, and changing your outlook on Klingons and stuff like that. There's something there, but First Contact, it's a fantastic film the first time you see it, and then as time goes on, its star wanes. Insurrection. This is just a weird episode of TNG that they just turned into a movie. Insurrection should have been a Deep Space Nine movie. Think about it in your head. Let it marinate in your head. This should have been a Deep Space Nine movie. Think about the context. Think about the plot. Think about it. This would have been way cooler if this was a Deep Space Nine film. But it's not. It's a weird fake episode of TNG that got stretched into a movie. And I don't even like it as much as Generations. I think it's in C. I can't think of anything that this movie gives you other than, like, Worf shooting a rocket launcher or something. I remember that. I remember a hollow ship and Data going underwater or something. What else does it have? Nemesis. It has the cemetery, which I hate. It has an interesting soundtrack, but it's a repetitive soundtrack. But it's good when you're repeating the best sounds in your soundtrack. Another plot about the road not taken. What would happen to me if circumstances were different? We've all asked that question. So it's beating Insurrection, but it's very dim, it's very dour, it's very sad. Do we want to be sad all the time? I don't know. It's telling that we had to spend 3 seasons in Picard fixing this stuff to finally get back to the ending we already had in TNG. That's very telling. So it's going high C. Now the Kelvin movies. Star Trek 2009. I'm going to be honest with you. Every time that's on television, my family's having a good time. Hey, there's Mark. He likes that Star Trek stuff. Put this on. And I just kind of sit there, and I shut my mouth, and I'm having a good time. I don't know. I'm having a good time. I think it could be high B. I hate the Enterprise in it. The music is good. The cast, I like the cast. I think the casting's all right. All things being considered. The plot with Nero and coming back from the future and Romulus being destroyed will obviously have very, very, very negative, it would echo very negative waves and vibrations through the rest of the series forever that we're still dealing with today. I don't want to hear about Romulus. I don't want to hear about Vulcan or whatever. I don't want to hear about evacuations. I don't care. I don't want to think about that. Is that this movie's fault? It's where it originated, but it's our fault for just keeping, repeating that same thing and going over and over and over and over and over. Oh, what? Well, here's this timeline, and we got revenge, and the errata looks absolutely awful. But, it's in keeping with what we've been getting so far. But, would you call this the first of the NuTrek? I would not. I would call it Kelvin. But it's an interesting precursor to NuTrek. You can see the DNA that we would end up with Discovery here. You can see the DNA. But I actually, when it's on, and I'm eating food or something, I'm just having fun. I'm playing along. I can kind of quote it here and there. It's right there. Star Trek Into Darkness is like the Star Trek nemesis of the Kelvin timeline movies. And a relative of mine who's very closely related loves this movie. They love it. I know people who love this in real life. They loved it. Even though it's it's not adventurous. It's a bland Bad Admiral plot. It's another inward-looking, nasty, no, Starfleet are the bad guys plot that just belongs right in the freaking garbage. Admiral Bad Guy shows the USS Vengeance on his desk like an idiot. Spock, it's got more kung fu fighting Spock punching people. It's got Khan, but it's not Khan, and there's some magic blood again. It's again that plot where we have to. How many times have you seen this plot, by the way, in like the 2010s? If you remember all that time ago, 200 some years ago, if you remember that, plots where a character had to be kept alive so we couldn't kill them, but they were the bad guy, so we had to fight them, and they had magic blood or something. I've seen that a few times at that era, and getting caught on purpose. It was just everywhere at that time. So it's formulaic, derivative, drab, sad, nasty. I think it's worse than Insurrection. I just don't want to think about it. And I don't want to think about that Vengeance either. So this, I think this could be D. Yeah. Okay. What you'll notice about this tier list is that it's skewing high. So Star Trek movies have been mostly good. Star Trek Beyond, the worst thing you can say about it is that it's just some random TOS episode blown up into a movie. And if that's the worst complaint, how bad can it really be? Right? I like it. I want to say it's better than Beyond. Not Beyond, it's better than 2009. Just because it feels like we're kind of comfortably in Star Trek here. We're kind of in that 5-year mission. And we don't have to do any more stupid origin stories to kind of break characters. We can kind of go into this and kind of forget 2009 and kind of forget Into Darkness. And that's high praise. The Franklin's kind of cool. It's weird that it kind of seems to not completely perfectly fit with what we've seen in canon, because of course the canon of the Kelvin timeline is such that before Nero's incursion into this timeline, it should have been TOS. We know that's impossible because we saw the Kelvin, and now we're seeing the Franklin. Now it's double impossible. So if you break a timeline or if you time travel, you're affecting the past and the future. Imagine that. Beyond, the first trailer was awful. I think even what's his face who plays Scotty, I think Simon Pegg specifically said not to trust that trailer, and they didn't have anything to really do with the trailer, and the first trailer made it look absolutely crappy. But you watch the movie and it's, you know, it's got kind of an interesting plot. Like, it's got a character, again, it's the bad Starfleet guy plot. Spoilers. He gets lost on this planet, he turns evil, and he kind of uses alien technology against Starfleet as an act of revenge. Whoop-de-doo. But what you get, though, is a spacefaring adventure with multiple locations, a cool planet, cool aliens, you know? It's not bad. I'm putting it ahead of... Yeah, I'm putting it ahead of 2009, which is ahead of 5, which is barely ahead of Generations, but I'm thinking hard on this. I'm thinking really hard about this Generations versus 5 thing. I don't know. Now, finally, Galaxy Quest. If you ask me what are my top 5 movies ever, it's going to include Star Trek the Motion Picture, and it probably also includes Galaxy Quest. I'm not even going to tell you what happens. If you haven't seen this, go watch it. I saw it when it first came out, and I couldn't believe it, and every year I probably go back and watch it. It's absolutely incredible. It's so fun. It sounds awesome. It looks awesome. It feels awesome. And if I want to feel good, this is what I watch. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this in A. That's how high it's going. I freaking love it. And I wish we had a TV show. So there you go. There's your double feature. NuTrek individual seasons tier list and Star Trek movies tier list. I can't believe we didn't do movies until this point, but there it is. I'm Lieutenant Mark, and I'm going to see you next time I see you. I'm not sure what's coming up next, but there's a little bit of a gap we have to go through before we get to the new season of Lower Decks. And I'll see you there. So long.